CTV News with Mitsumi Takahashi.
Good evening. A multi-billion-dollar deal today between Airbus and Air Asia. Air Asia has placed an order for 150 A220 jets. They're going to be assembled in Mirabel. And Angela, this is the largest order for the A220s in Canada's history.
That's right, Mitsumi, and this is going to be a big boost for this manufacturing facility here in Mirabel. The order was signed today and is expected that this will be delivered by the first quarter of 2028. Now, a number of dignitaries were on hand for the announcement today, including Quebec's Premier and the Prime Minister. The A220 faced production challenges since the beginning when it was Bombardier's C Series. Airbus bought it, rebranding it the A220. And there was also a lot of financial support over the years by Quebec, which still has a 25% stake in the program. Now, Air Asia is a low-cost carrier serving Southeast Asia and parts of Central Asia. And this order is for the new A220-300, which has 160 seats. That's something the CEO of Air Asia says was important.
Kuala Lumpur has gone from nowhere to become the #1 hub in Asia and the #4 hub in the world due to connectivity. The 220 will make that so much bigger for us. So that's why we chose the aircraft, for the size and the ability. And there's one more reason. The amazing thing about this aircraft is, when I bought the 320ceo, it only flew 4 hours. This aircraft can fly up to 7 hours. And in Asia, that has a lot of value for us as well.
And Prime Minister Carney says this deal is a good example of how Canada is diversifying trade beyond the U.S.
A power that's deepening the links between Canada and ASEAN. Very important point, deepening the links between Canada and ASEAN to the benefit of our workers, our families, our tourists, our business people.
Now, there is talk of another version of the A220, a stretch version that would have 180 seats. Now, this is something Fernandez says if it happens, that's very interesting to them and is something that they may place another order for if it ever comes to light. Mitsumi?
Thanks very much, Angela. And that's Angela McKenzie in Mirabel. The CAQ government under Christine Fréchette is taking a preemptive stand on its language law. It's decided not to wait for the notwithstanding clause on Bill 96 to expire. It's a move that takes direct aim at the Liberals. And again, Liberal leader Charles Millard is under fire today. Olivia O'Malley has more.
La loi sur la langue officielle et commune du Québec, le français.
As the new premier promised, the CAQ government is renewing the notwithstanding clause a year early. French language minister Jean-François Roberge tabled Bill 2 this morning. It protects the French language law, Bill 96, from court challenges.
We got to do what we got to do. French language will always be in danger in Quebec.
The political approach has forced the Quebec Liberal Party to take a stance on the issue. Roberge says he wants Quebecers to be aware of this, going as far as calling the party toxic.
A definition of toxic is something that can hurt something. Toxic water can hurt you if you drink it. I think the liberal politics are toxic to our French language bills.
When Bill 2 was voted on, Liberal leader Charles Millard says the Liberals will not support it. He says Bill 96 needs modification. Millard said previously he would get rid of the 6-month period for new immigrants to learn French and lessen the burden on small and medium businesses. But today he wouldn't reveal any other changes he would make to the bill.
I will be announcing very soon both my plan and my team that will be supporting the preservation and promotion of French.
He confirms it does not include scrapping the clause that overrides fundamental rights and freedoms.
The potential use of the clause is a tool that we need to keep to ourselves. So I will use it if necessary, but not necessarily.
Quebec Solidaire is expected to table a bill tomorrow to regulate the use of the notwithstanding clause. If passed, 2/3 of the National Assembly would need to vote in favor of using it, in addition to the support of 2 parties.
Having the CAQ government using bill after bills, the notwithstanding clause to withdraw those fundamental guarantees is concerning.
Robert says he doesn't understand why they want to attack the capacity Quebec has to govern itself, especially when it comes to protecting the French language. Olivia O'Malley, CTV News, Quebec City.
Quebec Solidaire has joined the call for the government to ban the sale of energy drinks to people under the age of 16. Meanwhile, the Order of Pharmacists says the combination of drugs for ADHD and caffeinated energy drinks pose cardiovascular risks that can be fatal. And it's estimated that up to 24% of teenagers do take ADHD medications. One teenager in Quebec on that medication did die after one drink. Quebec Solidaire MNA Guillaume Clich-Rivard tabled a petition with 35,000 signatures on it that calls for a ban.
I think there is a vast consensus. A Léger poll stated 86% of Quebecers are supporting the measure to ban the sale for 16 years old and under. I think it's now time for the government to move upon and to move with a serious piece of legislation that would allow us to protect the children.
The Canadian Beverage Association, for its part, opposes a blanket ban. It's arguing that the energy drinks are already highly regulated by Health Canada. A man was shot in a parking lot in Laval 2 years ago. The crime remains unsolved. So today, police set up a command post in the area. They're hoping for more information. Here's Matt Grillo.
It was 2 years ago when the Mercedes SUV sat riddled with bullet holes in a parking lot off Saint-Martin Boulevard. Police say it was an attempted murder at 1 in the afternoon, and the target was Ali Shaban, who escaped without serious injuries.
Officers found a man that was struck by gunshots. He survived the attack, and this has been an ongoing investigation of our major crime unit.
2 years later, the case is still unsolved, so police set up a command post looking for clues. They insist their investigation is progressing.
We have had recent developments that are pointing towards the masterminds of the attack.
Just days after the shooting, police say a business owned by Shaban was targeted by gunfire. About a month later, the business was hit by an arson attack.
We are working with him to resolve the investigation. It will be too soon for me to speak about the reason that he has been attacked on that day.
Police are also using the command post to send a message to restaurant owners who may be victims of extortion.
If you have paid for something for protection to a criminal organization, you are not a criminal. You will be considered as victims, and we're looking forward to work with you.
As for the parking lot shooting, Laval police say they are convinced that good developments will come soon. Anybody with information can get in touch with police through their tip line, 450-662-INFO. Matt Grillo, CTV News, Laval.
A Quebec man convicted of fomenting hatred against Jews is asking for a new trial. In 2023, Gabriel Soyer-Chaput was sentenced to 1 year and 3 months in jail and 3 months probation. His lawyer is asking he be retried, arguing the judge in the case was swayed by media headlines at the time about anti-Semitism. Soyer-Chaput wrote hundreds of articles for online neo-Nazi sites such as the Daily Stormer. He claims his writings were just satire. Sirens were heard across Montreal today. They're part of an annual drill. It's meant to prepare people in the event of a possible industrial emergency. Laurence Brisson-Debreuil reports.
It may sound urgent, but this is a planned drill. It's part of Montreal's annual siren test. 12 industrial sites across the island take part. One by one, they sound the alarm for 3 minutes, some more than once. The goal is simple: make sure the equipment works and that people know what to do. At the Labatt Brewery, which is one of the sites with an alarm, spokesperson Jeremy Gio Duchesne says the test is nothing new.
So it's actually our 70th anniversary, so residents and the people living in the Salle know the industry very well, know the brewery very well.
The brewery uses ammonia, a dangerous substance that could pose a problem if it leaked. Neighbors nearby say the sound of the alarm is familiar.
Everyone knows that around here.
Longtime resident Shirley Briand also knows the drill.
Stay inside.
make sure windows are closed, or doors are closed, put the TV on so I can hear any updates.
The city says that's the right response. In a real emergency, people should go inside right away, shut their doors and windows, and wait for official updates online or through alert systems. Schools and daycares also have plans in place to keep children safe. But some say the message doesn't always reach everyone.
I think more people would be better informed if it was on the radio or on TV.
And for those caught off guard, the sound can be unsettling.
I thought maybe something was really happening.
The city says that reaction is part of the reason for the drill, to build awareness in case of a real emergency. Laurence Brisson-Dubreuil, CTV News.
There were 2 separate fires last night at a homeless encampment on Notre Dame Street. The first fire was just before 7. It was quickly extinguished. A second one, though, broke out about an hour later. That one destroyed several tents before it could be put out. No one was hurt. Police are investigating how the fires started. Anyone who has seasonal allergies doesn't have to be told. Montreal is in the thick of allergy season, and it's a bad one. Experts are blaming climate change. Sweeta Rassi has more.
This year, the trees are blooming a little earlier than usual, according to David Weiss from McGill University.
So things that normally would have flowered, say, mid-May are now flowering early May. Things that flowered normally early May are now flowering in April, and so on.
He says the shift is due to climate change. Trees are releasing pollen sooner and for longer periods.
So potentially more pollen floating around in the air, and then that's what's triggering allergic reactions.
That means allergy season is in full swing. The biggest culprits, birch trees.
Most of the trees that are pollinated by wind, so birch trees, but also poplars, alders, ash, oak, maple, and so on.
1 in 5 Canadians suffer from seasonal allergies. Moshe Ben-Shoshan is from the Department of Pediatrics at McGill. He says there is something else at play, stronger pollen.
Something genetically has changed also in the pollens to make them more allergenic. So that's the interesting fact. So even if the level is more or less the same or even a bit lower, it doesn't mean that we will have less allergic symptoms.
That's why he says if you suffer from seasonal allergies, you may need to start taking your meds sooner.
So birch, that is the spring, we usually start November, December. Grass, we start January, February for the summer. And ragweed, we start just now. So if somebody is suffering a lot during the fall, that's the time to see your allergist and decide whether you want to be more aggressive regarding the treatment.
For many, a harsh new reality after a harsh winter, as the allergy season is here for a while. Sweeta Rassi, CTV News.
The Michelin Guide for Quebec is out, and 4 more Quebec restaurants have been given Michelin stars. For one Montreal restaurant, it's an honor that's been 10 years in the making. Matt Gilmore reports.
At Hugon et Buffon, preparations are underway for the dinner rush. The work is precise, with attention paid to every detail, but the mood is buoyant. As of today, this is a Michelin star kitchen.
We screamed. We screamed and we congratulated each other, and everybody jumped into each other's arms. Incredibly excited, incredibly proud of our teams who have worked so hard every day, who keep working hard, who will get up in the morning, come here, work until late at night, and do it all over the next day just to follow us in our vision.
According to Michelin's chief inspector, the restaurant is known for its remarkable and perfectly mastered wood-fire cooking and an impressive wine list with close to 1,000 options. The restaurant's wine director, Hugo Duchesne, has also been awarded the Michelin Sommelier Award.
The experience of wine is complete, either from some pairings, some explanations about the wine. It's kind of a storytelling that goes from beginning to the end of the meal. It's a great experience with the wine also.
To celebrate the Montreal success story, Mayor Soraya Martinez Ferrada delivered flowers and congratulations.
People are, again, so proud, and it's so many years of work and starting from nothing and bringing something like this to happen today. It's a really great moment to share with them.
Quebec now has 13 Michelin star restaurants and 85 that have been recommended by the guide, confirming what many in this city and province already know, that this is one of the very best food scenes in the world. Matt Gilmore, CTV News.
And the QR code is now up on your screen. It takes you to our website, and there you will find a full list of Quebec's restaurants in the Michelin Guide, their ratings and their locations. Well, in just over 30 minutes, it's puck drop for Game 1 of Round 2, the Montreal Canadiens versus the Buffalo Sabres in Buffalo. Now, Kelly, the Habs are the only Canadian team left in the playoffs.
Well, officially, yes, but unofficially, no. And that's because many hockey fans consider the Buffalo Sabres a quasi-Canadian team. Why is that when they're in New York State? Well, it's their proximity to the border and the fact that they sing "O Canada" before every game, which became a viral moment during Round 1.
Oh, Canada, our home and native.
A little microphone mishap there, but the crowd taking over. But it's important to note that this is a game that was being played between two American teams, Buffalo and Boston. So a hearty "O Canada" from the crowd. But it's a long-standing tradition in Buffalo to sing the Canadian national anthem before games, even if there's no Canadian team playing. Also, their name is spelled Sabres, R-E-S, not the traditional American way of E-R-S, so something to note there. Now, while many fans here in Montreal have fond memories of the last Stanley Cup or the last 2 or 3 Stanley Cups, depending on your age, for Buffalo Sabres fans, it's been a long wait. They're still looking for their first championship in their 5-year history. The last time the Sabres even made the playoffs was during the Obama administration. So for fans of these two franchises, it just adds fuel to the fire.
This might be the two most passionate fan bases right now still alive in the Stanley Cup playoffs going head-to-head. So I think in that sense, it's going to be every bit of a war with the fan bases as it is going to be on the ice with these two teams. So it's been a long, you mentioned 15-year wait for playoffs. It's been 19 years since the team won a round in the playoffs, right? Going back to 2007 when they were in the conference final.
Now, Buffalo, like Montreal, has had a bit of a goaltending controversy this year. There's been multiple goaltenders. We're expecting Alex Lyon to get the start tonight, but I wanted to talk about the person who got them there. And through the magic of television and my friends in the control room, his name will appear on your screens now. It is Finnish, it has 6 Ks in it, and I've been practicing it all afternoon. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Everyone, you can say it at home. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. I challenge some Habs fans here at Yield Orchard on de la Montagne to try to say his name. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. You guys want to go ahead?
Yeah, and you want to give it a shot there?
No, thank you. I'm good.
Come on, you want to give it a shot?
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
You guys are good. Yeah, pretty good, I have to say. Everyone's been practicing their Finnish here. Now, it's worth noting that there's about 180 seats in this bar. They have reservations for 100 people. It's round 2 gets underway in just about a half hour's time. People are getting excited and, yes, practicing their Finnish. Mitsumi?
Hey, thanks very much, Kelly. And that's Kelly Gregg. She's at the Old Orchard Pub on Mountain. And Habs captain Nick Suzuki is a finalist for the Selke Trophy. The award is given to the league's top defensive forward, as voted by the Professional Hockey Writers Association. Suzuki led the Canadiens with a career-high 101 points in 82 games. The other finalists named Tampa Bay's Anthony Cirelli and Colorado's Brooke Nelson. And coming up, he changed television as we knew it.
This is CNN.
We remember the man who created the 24-hour news network. And ChatGPT, it had little regard for Canada's privacy laws. ChatGPT violated Canada's privacy laws. At least that's according to the Privacy Commissioner. The Commissioner, along with privacy commissioners from several provinces, including Quebec, conducted a joint investigation into OpenAI. Judy Trin has details.
After an investigation that took 3 years, privacy commissioners from the federal government, BC, Alberta, and Quebec found that OpenAI violated privacy laws across the country as it developed its ChatGPT technology.
Our joint investigation highlights the importance of prioritizing privacy in the development, deployment, and ongoing evolution of artificial intelligence.
The joint investigation looked at ChatGPT's 3.5 and 4.0 models and found a lack of accountability. The models over-collected personal information. Users weren't asked for consent, false information was found in searches, and users couldn't correct the info.
To initially train ChatGPT, OpenAI scraped vast amounts of personal information from publicly accessible websites. This was widespread and indiscriminate.
Concerns about the lack of safeguards around ChatGPT have made headlines following the Tumbler Ridge mass shooting that showed OpenAI didn't flag troubling interactions to police. The company is facing several class action lawsuits in Canada and the U.S., but government regulation is lagging. Canada's privacy laws were developed more than 20 years ago.
We have also called on our government to regulate AI uses. The kind of regulation would require companies like OpenAI to evaluate the risks of this technology and to mitigate those risks before launch.
OpenAI was collecting sensitive information, such as health data and political views. The privacy watchdog says the company did fix some of those issues in later versions of its ChatGPT. The federal government is in the process of drafting new AI legislation. But for now, it's relying on private companies to police themselves. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
The White House believes it's getting closer to a deal with Iran to end the war. According to reports, it is all in a one-page memorandum that includes a moratorium on Iranian uranium enrichment, a lifting of U.S. sanctions, and the opening of the Strait of Hormuz. The president says Iran wants to make a deal.
We'll see whether or not they can make a deal that's satisfactory to us. We have it very much under control. The blockade is unbelievable. The Navy's been incredible. The job they did, it's like a wall of steel. Nobody goes through.
Trump also says the U.S. would get enriched uranium from Iran. It's believed that Iran has more than 400 kilograms of highly enriched uranium, and that's enough to make 10 atomic bombs. 3 passengers were airlifted off a cruise ship today to the Netherlands for medical treatment. The cruise ship has been hit with a hantavirus outbreak that's already killed 3 people, and now there is an 8th suspected case. Rena Roy has more.
Today, medical teams evacuating 3 patients from this cruise ship in Cape Verde after a suspected hantavirus outbreak. The rescue boat crew off the coast of Africa in full protective gear, the patients loaded onto ambulances and then put onto an air ambulance for specialized treatment in the Netherlands. Swiss authorities confirming a new case this morning, bringing the total number of suspected cases to 8. 3 of those people died. Health officials suspect a rare strain that may spread person to person.
We do believe that there may be some human-to-human transmission that's happening among the really close contacts, the husband and wife, people who've shared cabins.
The first victims, a Dutch couple. The World Health Organization says they were likely infected before boarding the ship in Argentina, where the rare Andes strain was discovered. Hantavirus is usually spread through exposure to rodents. Workers now disinfecting cabins as a precaution as they race to contain the spread. Spanish officials saying all passengers remaining on board are asymptomatic. This influencer sharing what life is like on the ship with passengers quarantined at sea. Speaking in Arabic, telling his followers most people on the ship have responded to the issue very calmly. 17 Americans are among the nearly 150 on board.
We hear you, we know that you are scared, and we're trying to make sure that the ship has as much information as they can.
The ship is now headed for the Canary Islands, where passengers and crew will be examined and treated, and when they're cleared, they'll be able to go home. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
There was a funeral today for Sergeant Brandon Malcolm. He was an Ontario provincial police officer who was killed in the line of duty last week. Thousands of police officers lined the route to the Cobourg Community Centre where the service was held. Malcolm died in a motorcycle crash on Highway 401 east of Toronto. The circumstances are still under investigation. Ontario Premier Doug Ford praised him as a model officer.
Brandon was a big man, but his heart was even larger. And I know Sergeant Malcolm represented the very best of Ontario. Bravery, compassion, and a commitment to leave his community better than he found it.
Malcolm joined the OPP's Specialized Motorcycle Team 6 years ago. He also served as a combat engineer in the Canadian Armed Forces. The founder of CNN, Ted Turner, has died. He was 87 years old. Turner built a media empire that included cable channels and sports teams. Lindsay Davis reports.
A media titan of a generation.
Want to come in?
Ted Turner forever changed the TV landscape when he founded CNN in 1980.
This is CNN.
A sharp business visionary, Turner would merge his company Turner Broadcasting System with Time Warner in 1996.
I dedicate the news channel for America, the cable news network.
The team of the 90s has its world championship.
Turner's wealth would also lead to his finding success in professional sports as the owner of the Atlanta Braves during their 1995 World Series win.
We worked hard and we deserve it.
His sports portfolio would grow to include basketball's Atlanta Hawks, hockey's Atlanta Thrashers, now the Winnipeg Jets, and World Championship Wrestling, popularly known as WCW. Turner was also a famed environmentalist and philanthropist, pledging $1 billion to create the UN Foundation and establishing the Turner Foundation to protect air, water, and land.
Are we going to make the right choices that will allow us to exist for another million years here on this beautiful paradise of a planet that we're on? Or are we going to turn it into a desert?
Turner's personal life made headlines over the years, especially his high-profile relationship with his third wife, actress Jane Fonda. The couple divorced in 2001, but maintained a friendly relationship. Robert Edward Ted Turner was born in Cincinnati in 1938. Turner took over his father's billboard company at the age of 24, a $1 million enterprise that launched his media career. The billionaire had a way with words.
And it should just be a better service for people that want to know what's going on.
And a style all his own. He would earn the nickname the Mouth of the South for his colorful speech. ABC's Barbara Walters sat down with him as one of her most fascinating people in 1995.
What would you like to own that you don't own?
It's not necessarily get everything you want. In fact, I'm not sure it's even healthy to get everything you want. In fact, I'm sure it's not healthy.
What's the best piece of advice you were given? Was there one?
Early to bed, early to rise, work like hell, and advertise.
And coming up, it is catching people's attention.
I was just going to walk by, but then I was like, what's going on in here?
It is a bookstore that has no books. The inflation rate was down slightly in April, but ask most people and they will say it certainly doesn't feel that way. The prices aren't coming down, and that's tough, especially for younger Canadians. Patty Lovett-Reed is a financial expert with Home Equity Bank. Hi, Patty.
Hi, Mitsumi.
So first, what are you talking about when you talk about younger Canadians?
Younger Canadians, depending on the age group, it could be 18 to 24, 18 to 34 when you're talking financial markets. But what I can tell you is that, for example, we do get the job report out for the previous month. This comes on Friday, and that's the month of April, and about 25,000 jobs are expected. Unemployment right now is at 6.7%, but where I narrow in is what's happening with youth unemployment, that group that we just talked about, because that unemployment rate is 13 to 14%. And it's a very, very different dynamic for them out there. There are a whole host of things coming together, and they're starting to feel that it's conspiring against them when it comes to launching them in the next phase of their life.
Because there is the job market. I mean, you know, we hear about the numbers. You say the job numbers are coming out. But what does that mean in people's actual lives, though, Patty?
Well, you know, having a job is the financial engine in your life. And if you're someone who's graduating, there used to be this linear path. You would graduate, then you would look for a job, and then you may buy your first home or a condo. You may decide to get married. You may decide to start to have a family. And all of a sudden, that's being turned upside down because you talked about the cost of things. You know, you may see inflation slowing. It just means prices are not rising as fast as they once were. And the fact is, you could have inflation just above 2%, but prices are 20% higher than they were 5 years ago. So for those graduates, they have a lot of uncertainty. The job market is very tight. They may have a lot of debt. Condos are more expensive, rent is more expensive, food is more expensive, insurance is more expensive, dining out, traveling, and all of a sudden questions that are impacting households. Should I move back home as an adult? And that may change the financial dynamics in a household, and probably will.
It sounds really overwhelming, though, Patty. So what kind of advice for people entering the job market now?
Well, you know what? I think you have to be very, very clear on what it is you might be looking for. It may not be the job you thought you were going to get 5 years ago. For those who are graduating, you know, they may decide to look where they are hiring in technology or in healthcare, skills, trade, contract work. You know, I think you really have to treat your skills like a currency. It's not just about building a resume right now, but it's making sure your skills stay up to date. Think about just the fact that you want to stay engaged. That means networking. It doesn't mean, you know, sort of sitting back and sending out, you know, arbitrary emails to people. It means connecting on a real level. And those financial goals that you have, I don't think you should abandon them. The time frame may be different, and it's not failure to launch if you decide that you're going to move back home, but there should be some contract with your parents or where you are living to say, how long am I going to be here? Am I going to pay down debt? Ultimately, what's the end goal? And to the extent that you can contribute and act as an adult in that household, I think those dynamics go a long way as well.
So I guess what you're telling us then is don't give up, right? Don't give up on the goals that you have.
No.
Just be a little bit more patient and learn to adapt.
Right, you just said it the best. Absolutely. You know what? The timeline may change, but your goal doesn't have to. You know what? Every single demographic has had to deal with something different. We always say it's different this time. Well, it might be different, their graduation compared to ours, to our parents. But at the end of the day, there are always going to be challenges, and you can still achieve your goal. So yeah, patience and a little flexibility right now. It goes a long way.
Good advice as always. Thank you so much for this, Patty.
Thanks a lot, Mitsubi.
Weather brought to you by Gratian Scaff's 50th anniversary gift event. Get a complete second pair and sunglasses as a gift.
Well, we saw around 7 millimeters of rain today, along with cloudy skies and cooler than seasonal temperatures, only hitting a daytime high of 9 degrees, certainly cooler than the seasonal 17, but didn't break this record set in 1981. We would have had to surpass minus 1.5. Now, putting our futurecast into motion, we are holding on to a risk of showers overnight. It looks like around 40% chance of showers, and at this time, we're just dealing with cloudy skies, but when I put my futurecast in motion a little bit, we can see in the early morning hours, we are just on the edge of a system, a spotty system, albeit, and it doesn't look like it's going to impact Montreal. However, I have to pass on the messaging from Environment Canada because they are the experts on this subject. We are just, it's sitting just south of Montreal, so it looks like we'll be holding on to cloudy skies. Then into the early morning hours, we do also see another 40% chance of a few showers, but that spotty system is north of Montreal, and we'll be seeing a mix of sun and clouds. Once again, it looks like that spotty system stays north of Montreal. So for the most part, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. It looks like we should be in the clear. And then in overnight hours, holding on to partly cloudy skies. And into Friday, that's what we see. We're calling for a mix of sun and clouds. In terms of our temperatures overnight, 7 is what we'll be experiencing. We hold on to that into the early morning hours, along with that 40% chance of showers and winds gusting up to 40 kilometers an hour. Into the afternoon, we hold on to that 40 kilometer an hour wind gusts, along with sun and clouds, and a daytime high of 12 degrees. So we will be a little bit warmer, but still cooler than the seasonal 17. Here's our longer range forecast. We will see a mix of sun and cloud on Friday as well as Saturday, with 1 millimeter of rain overnight. And we could see around 3 millimeters of rain to start the day on Sunday. And this time next week, what's new? We'll see more rain and a high of 16 degrees. And now a lotto reminder for you. On tonight's Lotto 649 draw, you could win $40 million. Good luck.
Today marks the Canadian debut of a special documentary. It was produced by Concordia students. It's called The Flowing River. The film documents how the Inuit village of Inukjuak transitioned to clean energy in the Arctic. Here's an excerpt.
Every season had a normal pattern. We knew when the snow would come in. We knew when the ice would freeze up. Elders used to be able to know just by seeing the sky what kind of weather it would be tomorrow. It's not the same anymore. It's getting scary.
The community had been dependent on expensive and polluting diesel shipped from the south. But Inukjuak now uses a river to produce its own energy system. It's a system that's cleaner and to last for generations to come.
We really want to do our part, and we've been there. You know, we've been unemployed. You know, we've been waiting for houses ourselves. You know, so we really understand the challenges of of living in the north, and that's what we want to do. We want to do our part, not only to fight climate change, but to develop our community as well.
The documentary is a multimedia collaboration that includes Indigenous climate leaders, community members, journalists, and students. It was screened at the Electrify Society Summit this morning. Aphrodite Salas is an associate professor at Concordia University, and she, along with her team, produced the documentary.
With this particular project, we've been privileged to be able to take the time to learn about the community in depth, to create relationships based on trust and accountability, and then share the story with permission. So I often say I don't consider myself a storyteller. I consider myself privileged to share these stories with permission from the community.
And she does it well. The QR code on your screen will take you to our website, and there you will find the full documentary, along with a special feature that includes interactive storytelling. And coming up, a call for more protection for children who take part in sports.
Menswear provided by Ernest. Elevate your style with Ernest. Your Health, brought to you by Gratianscap's 50th anniversary gift event. Get a complete second pair and sunglasses as a gift.
There's growing concern over head injuries in youth sports. A new survey calls attention to what needs to be done. Scott Hurst has more.
Canadian families are demanding more action when it comes to protecting kids participating in youth sports. So many families understand the benefits that can come from kids taking part in sports and being active, but a lot more attention is being focused on the potential downfalls at all levels of participation, including in professional sports. However, a new survey for the Concussion Legacy Foundation of Canada is highlighting how much more needs to be done. 93% of those surveyed are demanding more action to protect children from preventable brain injuries, while 89% are worried about the long-term effects, and 75% believe Canada is even falling behind some other countries in preventing brain injuries in youth sports.
It's not just about the size or the weight of a child, but about the fact that they are young, and repeated trauma, even if it's very mild trauma, can have cumulative effects that are untoward.
The Concussion Legacy Foundation is calling on governments, national sport organizations, and leagues to act now by implementing age-appropriate restrictions on repetitive head impacts, including heading in youth soccer, and establishing mandatory national standards for brain injury prevention and management. Bottom line, researchers say inaction is no longer acceptable, and they hope the increased attention, particularly right now around soccer with Canada co-hosting the World Cup, can get more people on board with the calls to action. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Business News brought to you by Au Vieux de Louvre, where memories and meals come together.
Canadians are refusing to buy American liquor, and the U.S. is feeling the effects. Here's Mirella Fernandez.
The U.S. Distilled Spirits Council says exports fell almost 4% last year, and that led to job losses in the industry. About 1,000 jobs were lost at American distilleries between September of 2024 and September of 2025. The council says spirit sales to Canada were down 63% in 2025. Some provinces pulled American products off shelves in response to Washington's tariffs. And now the EU is threatening to tariff liquor products from the U.S. this summer. Home sales in Montreal are down, but prices were up in April. The median price of a family home was up over 3% year over year, but sales are down 7% year over year. And experts say that's because of continued uncertainty about the economy. Loblaw reported a revenue of $14.7 billion for its latest quarter. Besides its grocery chain, Loblaw owns Shoppers Drug Mart, and drug retail sales were up over 4% in the quarter. Pharmacy and healthcare services were up closer to 7%. This quarter included revenue from PC Financial, but Loblaw is selling this part of the business to EQB. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 73.34. West Texas Intermediate down over $7 to 95.08. Western Canadian Select down over $3 to 80.87, and the TSX spiked 414 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Mirella Fernandez.
The Laval Rocket are still in the game. They beat the Toronto Marlies 4-0 last night. Each team now has 2 wins in the best-of-5 series. The deciding game is Saturday night in Laval. And the Victoires have evened up their playoff series against the Minnesota Frost. Game 2 in Laval last night was a long one. The game went into a third overtime before captain Marie-Philippe Poulin scored her first overtime goal. Game 3 in the best-of-5 series is tomorrow in Minnesota. And yes, the potholes are still with us. And Caroline, the city says it's got a plan to speed up the repairs.
Yes, Mitsumi, the city has announced new measures to help solve the seemingly bottomless pothole problem this spring. They all involve more money, and we'll tell you how much more tonight on The Late Show. And hockey fans, buckle up. After last night's 2 games, we have another exciting, probably game tonight. We're getting started off with another playoff series about to begin in Buffalo. And as we heard, Sabres fans are hungry for a win, but Habs fans also ready for another cup. So we'll see how these 2 teams match up in game 1 of their series. It all starts in just a few minutes. The flag is up. We'll see how they do, and we will have highlights tonight at 11:30. Mitsumi.
Thanks very much, Caroline.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here tonight on CTV.
In New York City, it could well be the first Bookless bookstore. Rena Roy has more on the Story House.
A bookless bookstore. It's an oxymoron, but it's catching people's attention.
I was just going to walk by, but then I was like, what's going on in here?
Amazon's audiobook and podcast service, Audible, has opened up Story House, a physical space dedicated to audio storytelling.
The idea is just to find a fun way to bring to life something that's digital in the physical space
because people want to get out of the house. They want to put their phones down.
Similar to a record store, visitors can browse shelves lined with physical story tiles and drop the tile on a listening station to hear a sample of the audiobook.
Be fully immersive in a room, could be via headphones. You can go into a space with a friend.
The curated selection includes categories like romance, classics, and top trending titles on TikTok.
I just tried out a book, like the tile thing. It's like sci-fi.
And tap the tile with your phone to play the title right on your device. The pop-up store has 3 floors, the library and gallery on street level. Downstairs is the Dolby Atmos Lounge, a surround sound listening experience decked out with Dolby Atmos spatial audio.
Love audiobooks more.
And upstairs, you can grab coffee at the cafe. And stop by the listening bar to meet story tender Shawnee.
I'm a mix between a bartender and a librarian. Do you want to listen to a sound? I had someone who said, I need nonfiction and it has to revolve around food. And I thought, okay, I know I have something like that. And I ran around in my brain and I was like crying in H Mart. Perfect.
Audible also offering a full slate of workshops and events from literary trivia to author panels.
Fans can come in, meet authors, and meet narrators.
Everyone is welcome, free to enter, free to listen. For now, it's a 4-week pop-up for the month of May as the Audible team assesses the response.
I want to come back, and spend more time here when I didn't have to, buy groceries.
Safe to say, the initial feedback is positive. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
And Lauren, there's still rain in the area.
Yeah, that's right. And not to sound like a broken record, or should I say a broken audio tile, we are holding on to a 40% chance of some showers overnight. So it looks like that'll be in the early morning hours, though, because it is a spotty system and it seems to be sitting south of Montreal. So if you're in the southern part of the city, there is a potential there. We're looking at an overnight low of 7 degrees. We also see a 40% chance of showers in the morning, with our winds gusting up to 40 kilometers an hour. They could increase up to 50 in the afternoon, but we will see a mix of sun and clouds and a high of 12. But looking at a little bit of our longer range forecast, we can also see that Sunday, Mother's Day, there is a risk of some showers there as well, but hopefully that'll change.
And that's it for us. Have a good evening. Stay well. Good night.